Society, when you speak, we listen. Welcome to a different format here today at Sound Society. Today we have an alternative presentation we like to call Sound Bites. A short form Q&A where we have collected a handful of questions based around our recent content to further inform and engage with you, the society. And as always, curiosities or debates, we are here for it all. Just know it goes down in the comment section here at Sound Society. So now, what about these inquiries? Call us, say what? And the first question we have on the line today is...
Hi guys, my name is Rachel. I just got an ID14 and I was wondering, how do I connect it to my channel strip?
Okay, so some people would make an entire video on this, but we're gonna cover this in record time. Side note, we don't have the unit here with us, so filling in for the ID14 today, we have the Apollo X4. And for our channel strip, we have the Neve Shelfer channel. So instead of running your mic cable directly into your interface, first we're making a pit stop at your channel strip, which means two things. One, we will not be needing to use the interface's preamps or preamp controls, and two, we're gonna be needing one extra cable. So boom, your mic cable goes into the mic input on your channel strip. Easy enough, right? Then you're using the extra cable, which will be an XLR to TRS cable that is going line out of your channel strip, feeding into the channel 1 line input of your interface. And you wanna make sure that your channel 1 is selected to line and not mic. And that's it. You use your channel strip preamp gain controls as you normally would on your interface, hit that 48V button if you need it, adjust your preamp gain, and boom, play ball. Next question.
Hi, my name is Javier. I was calling to see if the Audient preamp was any good. Dime si puedes. Gracias.
So first off, to answer this question is extremely subjective. It may sound good to one and not so good to another. Who's right? Like I said, extremely subjective. But I will say this, these are Class A console grade preamps, which, well, makes these preamps all the way official. Will you like how they sound? Well, that will ultimately be a matter of your taste and preference. So let me lend some additional insight. Given what a preamp is designed to do, which is to amplify the source, taking a mic level or instrument level signal to a line level signal, I would have to say the Audient ID series preamps indeed does that at a very high level. Next question.
Yeah, Paul calling from Minnesota here. I was calling to see if Audient ID14 was any good. Anything you could speak to on that, I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Long story short, yes. With the conversion being the primary function of an audio interface, as you will find in the user manual of the ID14 and ID4 MK2 alike, the converters that lie within both of these units are really, well, you've seen our other video where we went into more detail about the converters and specs of the ID14 MK2 altogether. If you haven't seen our other video, make sure you check it out, link in the description below. But not only for this price point, but really at any price point, you will be hard pressed to find literature on another unit that outperforms, let alone even matches that of the Audient ID series interfaces. I've looked, it's slim pickings, and that of which you will find are going to cost you exponentially more, literally. But if we're talking bang for your buck here, yet still Class A, meaning every bit of professional quality, I am saying Audient's ID14 MK2, superior converters at this price point. Next question. Before we take the next question, if I've yet to tell you personally, as I've been exchanging with a lot of you in the comment section, I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of the start of this beautiful community we're building here at Sound Society. That, remember, starts with you. So if you are enjoying your experience thus far and are wondering how you can help grow the channel, I would say first, share the channel with all your audio heads you know, or of course you can go full-blown support by sharing any of our videos across all of your social media platforms. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe, make sure you leave a comment and let us know what interface are you currently using. Do you still like it or have you outgrown it and are ready for an upgrade? Let us know down in the comment section below. Now back to it. And the next question reads,
Hi, my name is Jax. I still hear the echo in my headphone, the latency. Anything y'all can do to help me troubleshoot that with my ID14, I'd appreciate it. Okay, thanks guys.
Okay, this might be a little long, but I'll try my best. Stay with me. So low latency monitoring with the ID14 is interesting. If you're just wanting to monitor a dry vocal while recording, well then it's pretty straightforward. So let's start off by keeping in mind that you have two monitoring layers, so to speak. You have your Audient software mixer app, which when I record, I have UA's Console 2.0, and then you have your DAW's mixer, which I'm usually tracking into Pro Tools or FL Studio, both of which have monitoring capabilities. So if you're monitoring both of these layers at the same time, software mixer and DAW, while recording, it's likely you're gonna be experiencing a doubling effect.
Somebody help! Too much latency! The echo in my headphones is driving me crazy!
So to minimize that, you need to mute the input of the audio track you're recording to within your DAW, and then now you're only monitoring the direct input from your software mixer app.
No more latency. Now this direct input vocal, now this vocal I could use. Both layers, direct input. Both layers, software mixer app.
Which is the exact same process when I'm recording through my X4 into Pro Tools. Easy enough, right? But now it gets a little bit more complex. If you're wanting to monitor some of your plug-in processing you have going on inside your DAW, for quality assurance, first you're going to need to lower your buffer size within your DAW. How low? As low as your computer can handle. How much is that? Experiment. You'll know pretty quickly whether or not your computer can handle it. Then once you've done that, just mute your input within the software mixer altogether, or you can create a blend within the software mixer app using the faders blending the direct mic input and the return signal from your DAW that will read 1 and 2 in your software mixer. And that's how you optimize the latency on the ID14. And if for one reason or another I spoke slightly out of context, if anybody out there is Team Audient who wants to chime in, for the record, I do not mind to stand being corrected. If I have not spoken accurately on any account, I have no problem owning up to that. But in addition to what we just covered, when you're done tracking, don't forget to close the software mixer application altogether. And then you're back to monitoring strictly within your DAW. Any clarifications, comments section down below. I'm always there. Next question, let's go.
Yeah, this Gerard calling on that ID4 MK2, trying to see if it's any good for mixing and mastering. Just let us know something. Trying to see what you think. Yeah.
Oh man. Mastering is a very simple yet complex topic that is sure to involve high-level converters, mastering-grade processors or plugins, and a monitoring chain that you can trust, and most importantly, a room that is designed to optimize audio playback. And that's just to mention some of the key aspects. So to go back to the original question, is it good for mixing and mastering? I haven't heard of any mastering engineers using Audient gear as a part of their setup. But as far as the converters go, I am saying conversion-wise, Audient ID MK2 series is a solid place to start for developing your craft within the realm of mixing and mastering. But as you develop and evolve, I'm sure you will find yourself evolving into mixing and mastering using other equipment. Fair enough, right? Could you get the job done through the Audient ID series interfaces? Sure. At any rate, I hope that lends all of you context. Next question. What do we got?
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Devin. I was just calling about the Audient ID14 MK2 and was wondering, how do you use it?
Now you know this is too deep of a question to answer real quick, so if y'all haven't taken notice with our videos and how we engage with y'all in the comment section, we take pride in being thorough and not shortchanging y'all one bit. So, how do you use the Audient ID14 MK2? Well, I've made an entire video on that in detail design just for you. So if you're wanting to drop on that question, I need you to go to the right and choose the pill that's blue. But if you're clear on where you stand as far as the audio interfaces go and are just wanting a last reference before jumping into the game of recording arts, then it would be wise of you to go left and check out our best budget audio interface. Red pill, blue pill, which one will it be? At any rate, down in the comment section below is where you can always find me. Master Miller here. I thoroughly enjoyed being your host today. Sound Society out.